At least you need to tell someone where did you go. I went to a book launch. What is the book? The book is on account-based marketing. So please remember this word, phrase, account-based marketing. This is what the book I have written. This is the second book on which I have written this book. I'm going to be ultra basic today. So some of my marketing friends might see that this is all since for the the good side of the audience, the majority. I'm going to walk you through what this is, and then I will also talk about my journey of writing a book, and then we can pick up a couple of points. If you are looking at, starting a book, or probably I can answer some of them. My father still thinks that my first book is on GST because there is a word called account. So he's from finance department, so he tends to think that you wrote something on the accounts, right? So I want to clear up that definition here the very outset of this. In this context, account means an organization which could be a customer or a prospect. We usually talk at office, in this way. Hey, on what account are you working? I'm working on Mahindra and Mahindra. I'm working on Cadbury. So that's the organization that they refer to. That is what account is. And in this context, again, when they see the word marketing, a lot of people think that this is only about marketing. In fact, it is far beyond than marketing. But the curse is that, there's a word marketing in account-based marketing, only marketers try to own it. Everyone who is having an opportunity to influence the customer, to travel with the customer, they should be part of this account-based, probably it should be called as account-based management. Somehow, a lot of buzz happened around account-based marketing, so I am carrying forward that myth. So this is what it is all about today. If you got these 2 points, in fact, a lot of even marketers also, are not clear with that, account-based marketing is beyond marketing function. If you are clear now with this, which means that you have surpassed and you are qualified to be a marketer. So I will try to make you understand what is account-based marketing in a very generic philosophical way. Why did I come into account-based marketing while I was working on MarTech, while I was working on performance marketing? A lot of things existed, but what was special with ABM? It was just like anything else, what attracted me. This is how I feel, or how I decoded the philosophy, underlying philosophy. That I think it was a couple of, not couple of, I think it's a decade ago when I was running my own startup. One of my customer, who was a GM for an MNC, we were charting on how my organization was working and then I was telling her, these are all my hardships in my organizations and everything, so I'm sacrificing a lot. And then she told me something like, life is not about this or that. It's about this and that. I think, at least for me or the environment that I have come up with, a lot of times people tend to say that, hey, you want to have this, you want to get this, achieve this, you have to sacrifice this. I don't think there is something like that, this or that. I think there is always a way to find out this and that. I have practiced both the approaches, sacrificing things and achieving whatever I want without sacrificing achieving what I want. Right now I'm doing a lot of initiatives, I'm not sacrificing anything. I'm very good, having time with my family, a little bit lagging on the fitness, of course I agree that. So I think this is what ABM also connects with. How does it connect with, a lot of times in this competitive world we tend to think you or me. Either you win or I win. But we not necessarily be that. A lot of times we forgo that vision or the view that we both can be winners. That is what account-based marketing essentially tells to everyone. A lot of practitioners also do that as a tactical activities, unfortunately, but this is the philosophy of ABM that we both have to win. And how do we win that? That is by adopting customer centricity. You put the customer at the very center of everything that you do. You don't have to fake anything. You don't have to say which you don't mean. You have to be very conscious. You have to be very upfront, and you have to really get in the shoes of the customer. This is all about customer centricity. In fact, if you look at the very basic definition of a business, a lot of people think that the definition of a business is about generating revenue. But the ultra basic definition of business is to solve a problem. That's it, as simple as that. So if we are able to embrace ABM, it will bring us back to that foundation of being conscious about what problem are we solving, are we really contributing. That is how it brings back us to the foundation. I will deviate a little bit onto a bigger scope of what a brand is, because I want to elaborate on the customer centricity. I work with one of my friends who did his research on branding for SMEs. So back a decade ago, we were brainstorming on what is brand. A lot of people answer in different ways. Some people say that something which is very popular, something which is very expensive, something that is very high quality. A lot of definitions have come across us. So we try to come up with one word that matches with all of these opinions. That's called promise. What is a brand? A brand is a promise. This is something that I think everyone can agree with. There is no contradiction in any context. Okay. Now, if someone asks me, hey, Cyprus will tell me something that, every business, any business, are there any secret formula that every business can succeed or become a brand? These are the 4 pillars that I'm going to talk about. We should guarantee that any business in the world will be successful if it is able to, adopt these 4 pillars. The first one, see, it goes on the line of the promise. The first aspect is to define the promise. What is that you are delivering? What is that you are promising to someone? I think a lot of us already do that. Communicate the promise. You have to communicate it to the customer, prospects, your promise. The third one is you have to deliver. These 3 are quite simple. A lot of organizations does the first 3. There is no doubt about that. But they still struggle in the market because they forget something called evaluating the promise. I have a promise, I have a product, I am communicating it to you, but I am delivering also to you, but still I am not successful, because that is not what my customer wants. In fact, at a very PMF, product market fit level, they do a lot of evaluation on understanding the market. That's the biggest foundation effort that anyone has to do. Unfortunately, we are obsessed with our ideas, our product solutions, and that's where the 4th one makes a drastic change in any business. Successful businesses have pivotal moments of 8 to 9. Someone would have started a e-commerce portal. They would have pivoted to a B2B portal, and then they would have pivoted to a service company. There are a lot of pivots that any startup or any organization does. In fact, in this era where customers are becoming more and more digitalized, their digital footprints are everywhere. You have to connect with them digitally. Your product or services also have to make sense in that digital landscape. So I think every organization will be there as a startup only, where it has to evaluate its promise. So these are the 4 pillars which can ensure any business success. And these 4 pillars are nothing but just around the customer. You are defining the promise to your customer, communicating the promise to your customer prospect, delivering the promise to customer, you are evaluating the promise, with respect to your customers' inclination or their needs. So that is the reason customers, either you start here and you will come to customer centricity, or you start at customer centricity and you can eventually touch up on all these pillars. That is how your organization will be able to touch upon the customer centricity. And customer centricity is equal to success. Yeah, hence blue. Like I wrote a lot of answer sheets in the I'll talk about a little bit on the practice of ABM. I tend to look at it as as a process of meditation. A lot of us would have already experienced meditation. How do we feel? We feel very energized. We feel, so clear, so much of clarity, so much of energetic. So much of introspection also happens there. And if I have to pick up one word that will act as a root for all of these, then I will choose a word called consciousness. If I have to say that someone wants to, live up to their dreams in their life, and if there is only one commitment that they want to give in their life, it has to be consciousness. When anyone's consciousness heightens up, their ability to grasp, their ability to perform, they will transform very drastically. So that's the reason I see that consciousness is a root that can, touch upon all of us. Similarly, like we are talking about meditation for an individual, let's imagine if we are trying to define a meditation for an organization. Then I see it as APM is there are a lot of other meditation practices for businesses, but one of the APM is the name of the hero, while customer centricity is the quality of the hero. There could be different heroes again, but the quality is the same. Customer centricity, whoever the hero is, they have to have this quality of being customer centric. Without that, no one can become a hero. And I'll try to be a little, clear on what would be the outcomes here. What would, if an organization is meditating as in fact, my first startup was named as Windows Square with an objective of when two windows map each other. One window is to look at the world outside, one window is to look the world within us. So when you map two windows, window into window, Windows Square, that's how I named my first startup as Windows Square. So that is what I mean by meditation here. An organization is having an eye on what's happening in the market, and an organization is having an eye on what's happening within us, what are our strengths, how should we go to the market. So that is what I mean by meditation here. When we look at this meditation, what could be the outcomes? The very first change that we see is to start behaving more relevant, to start behaving more sensible, rather than just pushing every message that we have. We try to be specific and relevant to the audience or the customers or the prospects. And this will eventually bring us reputation. This guy speaks some sense. He cares about me, he knows me, he knows my problem statement, and he is here to help me. That is the kind of confidence we need to give if someone have to share their problem. Would you share your problem with anyone? No, unless we know that this guy is an expert or he is our well-wisher. So that's how it brings up the reputation, it grows our relationships, and relationships eventually translates to revenue. And the revenue, consistent revenue, can result upon sustainable growth, which is actually one of the biggest success metric for a lot of organizations now. For their transformation, they need sustainable growth rather than a growth which is not predictable. That is how organizations are able to plan their roadmap or plan their expansion geographically, product-wise, portfolio-wise. That is how, if you can be customer-centric, this is how an organization will evolve. Okay, but why write a book when you have a lot of forums like YouTube or blog articles or social media, everything? And I don't have a YouTube channel where I keep sharing, but what is the specific reason that I have come up with a book is there is, Shivo Hams, my son's school teacher, he keeps on saying that sharing is caring. So I think that somehow seeped deep into my mind that you have to share. And I also had this intention that the knowledge I am carrying, I felt a little burden when it is not going out, it's not performing. Not every time you know everything you will be able to practice, but imagine you share with someone is able to utilize it, leverage it, you take the pride of it. So I had this intention that everything I know about ABM has to be shared. That's the reason. The first book that I have written is more of a tactical level for beginners who wants to look at what are the initial things that I can start with. And this book is more of a strategic deep dive approach where that talks about the practice and a lot of practical insights that are coming from the field. So the book carries a long format, and people can carry it any place. The learning comes at own pace, own place, and also it has all the details, use cases, stories, insights, and also this particular book, helps the readers in practicing whatever that we are talking in the book. This is the first book launch that happened in 2023. It was a little short audience. That was my first book. I think it was in August 2023 that this was done. 2025 picture of Baki hai, not just for the photo, a lot for us. I think I had this intention that I wanted to, motivate people writing up, picking up, challenge of writing a book, share their knowledge. So I thought this might interest few audience. What does it really take to write a book? Sai Krishna has written it, everyone should be able to write it. What is the kind of duration I would be taking if I have to write a book? It depends. It depends upon how deep you want to go, how practical you want to go. Okay, it can be just you can use some AI tools and then you can have some write up. You can still do that, but you can also go into the field, check with the people, take their feedback, take their inputs, take the practical insights from different forums, and then you can take a lot of time also. The cost, it can be as simple as 3,000. In fact, I wanted a lot of kids in this event with an intention that, probably we can tell them that there is an activity on book writing. We and Geek also talked about, having a workshop for kids, a workshop which will help them write a story. And then I did my product market fit there. I had a couple of copies. I tried it with my neighbor's children, and I realized that it is just that another book I'm trying to, burden them with. They went like assignment, and that's how my product market fit worked. And I understood that no, this is not what the children want. They need more inclusive or more, entertaining way of, because they're already, shown with a lot of assignments, book work, and everything. So yeah, I wanted kids to pick up, try something that they can. And there are platforms like Bodhi, Notion. You can even get single book printed also. So you don't have to worry how do I get a hard copy. I would would suggest Bodhi. Someone can try go onto the website. If you have a PDF, you can create a cover page also right there. It will ask you questions, what's the layout, okay, what is the type of binding. You can all figure it out. It's very simple, it's quite easy. In fact, you don't have to look, if you want to seriously publish also, you don't have to think of how many copies do I have to print, do I have to go to offset printing. No, it's not needed. We all have the print on demand options here, and we all have the ebook options as well. Notion is a little wider scale when you want to reach a global market with Amazon, Flipkart, Kindle. That is where Notion helps. The tools that I have used are both ChatGPT, Claude, DPI. I have used it for visualization, Canva for all the poster designs and everything. Gemini, yeah, just like ChatGPT, Claude. GPT was not so helpful. It helped me on the housekeeping of the book, and the very basics. Claude was very good in its intelligence, with its response, but the problem with the Claude is it doesn't have larger memory window. So if you want to bring a larger context into the picture and then ask it for a response, it will not be able to do it. You can hardly input your 10 pages of knowledge and then ask for something. In the revenue, it's I don't know or I do know. Okay, don't look at that revenue, but still have an intention of carrying revenue in your mind. The intention, the objective is not to bring any revenue, but the reason I'm telling that you have to have an intention of revenue is, imagine you don't have an intention of revenue. You wrote a book, you paid some fee to a portal, and then you will leave. The entire life cycle an author will not experience it. An author, has to experience launching a book or publishing it, distribution. There's a bigger, life cycle for an author that you will have to experience, and you can only when you look at the revenue as well. Revenue, promotion, all these. This all, give an exposure to kids or even to us. For me, it took 14 months to write the second book. As soon as I finished this book, I knew that a lot of gaps in my first book. Even before finishing, I knew that. And Saram also said that it's quite possible. The rest is always yet to come. And I'm feeling that I'm not going to come with a third version of ABM certainly. I have given everything I know in this book. So if you want to, grab everything that is in my mind, and that's in the book, in the best format. And the process is, the budget, I have spent few thousand, but I don't want to say it just because I don't want to put any notion or any specific, fixed impression on it. The process, I started with a brief as in what is the objective, what is the purpose. I'm coming up with a second. I know that the purpose is to fill the gaps. I haven't conveyed few things which was not more practical for the readers. And the first draft, along with the research, the brief to first draft plus research, it took around 6 months for me to have a very first draft version. And then I approached my guides, Subhendu, Nikita, Sairam, and Seshasai. I started taking feedback from them. And that's how iteration have. I think it took around a couple of months for me to come up with the first iteration, and then a few more visualizations also done. That is just 1 month, I think. And then second iteration again, I have to proofread my own book. It would be good if you have someone to proofread. I use ChatGPT to proofread in terms of spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes, but that's not too much to lean on actually. And then the final changes and publishing. There will be a lot of mess while publishing with those kind of portals. Expect that. And then when you're publishing, it will ask you for your title, design, layout, distribution. I have to take a little different route here when it comes to this book because I had a challenge. I wanted to come up with a landscape. We don't have a lot of, not a lot of, I was not able to find a couple of publishers who are into landscape, except the traditional publishers which are like large scale. A lot of them are portrait. The reason I wanted to come up with landscape is a lot of pictures are there, frameworks, tables, and I don't want every time reader come across something they have to rotate their book. So I try to make it as landscape as possible. So you will have to be clear on that as well, what is the size of the book or the layout, and the distribution as well. So these are the wonderful people who have helped the book to achieve its excellence. I would request everyone to give a big round of applause for all of them. Thank you, Subhendu and Nikita, and also Seshasai and Sairam. Sairam is unfortunately a bit under the weather, not able to make the event. So moving forward. The reason I love this book is because not because I wrote it, but because this book has got a guidance of experts who have decades of experience. And I was overwhelmed with their intentions because, I know that these people are quite busy in their, daily life and they still take time and, give the feedback, which are very detailed feedback. And that's what this book is, that's what is making this book such a wonderful book. And it's time now. We will kick off the book launch. We'll start with the poster unveiling. And this is wonderful Women's Day today. I would request Nihika to unveil the poster. Thank you, Nihika. Thanks a lot. Just take the seat. I request Subhendu and Nihika also to come out on the stage. And I have one more person who doesn't know that is also going to launch the book. Uh, Someone who has been a very support at the very core and still doesn't want to be recognized. That was my Home Minister. Please. I request, three of you to launch the book.
Why are you there? Yes. You should be in the center. Yeah? No, that's fine. Please. Good one, it feels really good. Good. Very nice.
I request to bring you to a few words.
Sitting or standing?
Your wish.
Alright. Sai, thank you so much. I think the way this has come out is really, really good. Appreciate it. I would like to say one thing that I have seen very less people have the kind of perseverance. That is what Sai has. Starting from the first book till this version, the second one, he has been relentlessly focusing on this, saying that how do I take my knowledge, how do I put it out there? Even when I was at Forrester, he used to take some of these inputs. I said that I will not be in public anywhere till I'm with Forrester. And the moment I came out, he said that I'm so happy you're out of Forrester. So I think it has been really great, working with you, giving you the inputs. More than you, I probably have enjoyed, sharing some of the feedback, whatever I knew. But the way it has come out, it's really good. I have seen the final manuscript, really awesome. I feel that all of us have this market awareness, and what he has picked up is one thing which is very core to him, right? He felt that this is one area he is truly passionate about. I think identification. I think he was running and it got down. I think identifying that core area within all of us is really important, and that's what I have always felt. That as a person, as a marketer, whichever relationship we are in, I think we have to give in our best, and this is what has come out very clearly in you. Congratulations to you for your second book. I wish this becomes the maximum bestseller in the shortest possible time. Yeah, thank you.
So honestly, I still remember the first conversation that I ever had with Sai. And I don't even remember why we talked, but I know that it was the first conversation and we ended up talking for more than 1.5 hours. Okay. And the whole discussion was about ABM, and I was very intrigued because here this person was talking about it with so much passion. I'm not just talking about the activities, but what it means, the strategic direction a company needs to take. And that really intrigued me. And then I had the chance of working with him for 1.5 hours, and I truly saw him put everything into action. So I was so happy to see that. And and this is what it has culminated into. It's not a theoretical book, it's very practical paper. And I really congratulate you, Sai, for really putting all the passion, all the learnings, all the things to this. And yeah, I wish the same if it comes to the seller.
So in fact, I cannot thank them enough. I admire them a lot. If you have to travel towards a goal, you need to visualize how your goal is going to be, right? And I used to look at them, I need to become like this. So this is my visualization. You know, the kind of knowledge that they carry, the kind of empathy that they carry. More importantly, I see some people who are very intelligent, who are, have a lot of knowledge exposure, but, I see few people who are empathetic towards others. I get inspired, admired a lot by that, and that cannot stop from contributing. And these are the people who has been helping beyond this book, indeed, not just this book. In fact, my even first book or even the video series that I was working on, I have worked with wonderful people who are outside my organization. So I think that's the best that I can happen. Thanks a lot.